Want to be more productive at work and do your tasks faster with AI? In this video, you will learn Microsoft Copilot. This free tutorial is structured as follows. First, what is Copilot? Then a comparison of Copilot versus ChatGPT. Then a comparison of the free version of Copilot with the Pro version. How to install Copilot. How to prompt in Copilot. Then we'll dive deep into Copilot in Excel and Word. Then we'll have a glimpse of what's possible to do with Copilot, PowerPoint, Outlook, and OneNote. Let's dive deep into it. What is Microsoft Copilot? You might have heard of ChatGPT, right? Well, Copilot is the big brother of ChatGPT, or let's say his cousin, his very competitive cousin. Microsoft Copilot is a generative AI tool using natural language to help you in your day-to-day tasks. What's crazy with this tool is that it has access to real-time information via Bing, Microsoft search engine. I personally use Copilot for everything now, but specifically for these topics. I will correct my grammar errors in my email because, as you can hear, English is not my main language. I will also ask Copilot to shorten my emails so I get straight to the point. It also helps me with the YouTube video scripts, and most of the time I use Copilot to generate ideas. To be honest with you, I completely replaced Google with Microsoft Copilot as it makes the search much faster. Copilot will just go through all the articles and summarize them in a quick post, and you can then click on the links so you can go straight up to the article to validate the information. Now for ChatGPT, well, it has been created by OpenAI, an AI research and development company. GPT stands for Generative Pre-trained Transformer. Yes, like the movie Transformer. We could say that ChatGPT is very similar to Microsoft Copilot. It is a generative AI tool using natural language. If you want to differentiate them though, just think it like that. Copilot is more like a search engine tool building on your Microsoft 365 apps behavior, while ChatGPT is more to have a conversation with a robot. ChatGPT common use cases could be one of the following: compose essays or emails, create lists, describe art in detail, write some code, summarize content, create poems and songs lyric, or even build your resume. Please note that there is also a paid version of ChatGPT, and guess what? The cost is exactly the same as Microsoft Copilot. I'm not sure that was planned. Or was it? Now it's time to compare the features of both tools. First, the biggest difference is the information cutoff. ChatGPT has an information cutoff as of January 2022 right now, and it changes as we go. It was previously in 2021, while Copilot is actually a live search AI. Using its Bing search engine, Microsoft Copilot gives you access to real-time information. Yes, it is live. If you missed last Sunday football game, you can ask Copilot to do you a summary of these games. Another main difference is that the free version of ChatGPT is using the GPT version 3.5, while Microsoft Copilot is using the GPT version 4. Microsoft are not really advertising on this one. The free version, they say it offers the GPT-4, but when it's too busy, it's gonna lower you down on the GPT 3.5 version, and this is why you might want to go with Copilot Pro, because it guarantees you priority access to GPT-4. I won't get too technical here, but the main difference between GPT-4 and 3.5 is that GPT-4 can analyze images, it's more precise, it's more powerful. Anyway, you get it. There is a feature in ChatGPT that is really nice, and it's called custom instructions. Basically, you can tell ChatGPT who you are, where you live, or whatever you do for a living, who's your audience, which question you're gonna ask him about, and it avoids that you always type the same thing. Hi, I'm an accountant, before your question. Microsoft Copilot unfortunately doesn't offer this setting yet, but I'm sure it's gonna come very soon. Both tools lets you keep a chat history, so after a long weekend, if you want to jump back in straight in your conversation with your favorite robot tool, then you can with just a click. Please note that both of these tools are also available on mobile, so they follow you everywhere and you can ask any question while you're drinking at the bar with friends. You can ask any question to this robot. Another difference between the two tools is that with Microsoft Copilot, you can actually choose a conversation style. You can be more creative to start an original and imaginative chat. You can be more balanced, it's recommended for everyday and really informed chats, or you can be more precise, start a concise chat, useful for fact finding. Unfortunately, ChatGPT doesn't offer this kind of conversation style. There is a free version, but there is also a pro version which costs 20 USD per dollar per month. It is subscription fee based and it is really powerful. Let me explain the difference between the free version and the paid version. First, both versions has foundational capabilities. What does it mean? Do you know ChatGPT? Well, it's pretty much the same as the free version of ChatGPT, which means that you can ask him questions, create content, generate ideas, and everything that the free version of ChatGPT can do. Businesses and individual users might be worried about data protection. Well, Microsoft gives for both the free and the paid version a commercial data protection. And what's the Microsoft promises about this? It means that it doesn't save any prompts or answer or question that you ask to Microsoft Copilot, so your data is completely safe. According to Microsoft, of course. I want to show you a quick example of what we can do with Copilot. So I go on copilot.microsoft.com. I am in incognito mode here because I want to show you the free version, what you can do. As you can see, it is really similar to ChatGPT. So Copilot, your everyday AI companion, powered by Bing, the Microsoft search engine, right? So you can create anything, basically create a poem, write a poem with vivid imagery that doesn't rhyme, and Copilot, just like ChatGPT, will generate a poem. I signed in into Copilot and I wanted to show you a free feature. Even though it says Copilot Pro here, there are plugins available in the free version which can be really nice. There's one plugin that I want to highlight. As it says here, you can choose up to 3 plugins for conversation. There is a plugin Suno, and Suno is really cool. It's actually useful to create a song. So you can say, create a rap song that is inspired by Dr. Dre, and Copilot will use the Suno plugin and just create you a song in literally few seconds. One huge difference between the free and the paid version is the version of the GPT, the technology behind what you type. Basically, I won't get too technical here, but let's say that the free version will be on 3.5 and the paid version will be GPT-4, which means more accurate, more memory, and more capabilities of analysis. In example, GPT-4 can analyze images and can give you answers based on images, which GPT 3.5 can do. Again, I won't get too technical, but it's just a better version. Of course, you pay for it, so it should be better. So this 4th bullet point on this infographic is what Microsoft means. During peak time, you'll have access to the latest version of the technology behind Microsoft Copilot. Okay, this is where it is really worth it for Microsoft Copilot Pro. It is to have Copilot in all your favorite Office 365 apps: Outlook, PowerPoint, Excel, Word, and Microsoft OneNote. But first, let me show you how to install Copilot and also how to prompt properly in the tool. Go to this website that appears on the screen right now, so Microsoft.com, Copilot Pro, and here you click on Get Copilot Pro. What Copilot Pro does is that it unlocks Copilot in the Microsoft 365 apps, aka Outlook, Word, Excel, and PowerPoint. So you click on Get Copilot Pro, and then it's gonna bring you to this page where you will be prompted to log in to your account and pay. So you just enter everything that you need to do here, you pay, and then you click on next. Then I went into Excel to see if I had Copilot available, and go here in file and then account and then update your license, because you just paid. You have to sign in once again. And then if I open Microsoft Excel, I go here and look at the top, Copilot just appeared. Really nice. And then when I go into Microsoft Word, here we go, we have Microsoft Copilot. Just like there are techniques to help you communicate effectively with a human, there are tips to help you get better results with Copilot when writing prompts. Here is an example of 2 prompts and the different results. I first asked Copilot, what can I do in Paris? Copilot gives us 8 bullet points as a result, including the Eiffel Tower and a bunch of other activity. As you can tell, the prompt is very generic, it's lacking details, but Copilot still gives you a rough idea, but it doesn't take into consideration any of your context. Are you traveling solo? Are you traveling with kids? What is your budget? And all the important details that will make your trip a success or a complete failure. So now what I did, I asked Copilot something else. I gave him way more context. Give me a 5 bullet points of the nicest things to do in Paris. I am going there with my family, which include 2 kids of 5 and 7 years old. I want you to take into account activities that are kid-friendly and that we can do in a 4 days period. Base your research on the best reviews in the last year. Now let's compare the answers I got from my 2 prompts. The first bullet point from this second prompt is Disneyland in Paris. Of course, kids love theme park. There is no Eiffel Tower in these results, which I find kind of weird. He still got the river cruise on La Seine River and the Louvre Museum. Since Copilot only gave me 5 bullet points and the first prompt gave me back 8 activities, I thought I could ask him 3 more activities. The result is that he actually gave me 3 more kids-friendly activities. In other words, the answer he gave me was very tailored for my specific needs. The key takeaway here is the context and details are everything. Just think about it this way. If you tell your girlfriend, I am with another girl tonight, she might be mad, right? But if you tell your girlfriend, I am with another girl tonight and it's my mom for her 50th birthday, then the result might be different. Then she might think, why am I not invited? But that's another topic. Copilot prompts need to be structured, which means there's a hierarchy to respect in order to achieve great results. So here is the 4-step perfect prompt formula I was talking about. It is the GCES formula. First, you have the goal. This is where you determine what do you want from Copilot. For example, give me a 5 bullet points of the nicest things to do in Paris. This is my goal. Note that this is the only mandatory field in all of this formula. The second prompt ingredient is the context. As I just told you with my mom's birthday example, context is everything. It is actually why do you need it and who's involved. For example, I am going there with my family, which include 2 kids of 5 and 7 years old. The third ingredient of the secret formula is the E for expectation. This tells Copilot how it should respond. For example, I want you to take into account activities that are kid-friendly and that we can do in a 4 days period. If you would prompt in a work context, this could be different. This could be used to set the tone in an email, like I want the email to be more professional or I want the email to be more friendly. The fourth and last ingredient of the secret prompt formula is the source. In other words, what information or samples do you want Copilot to use? For example, base your research on articles that are less than 1 year old. This will give Copilot more information on what you're looking for and add even more details to your prompt. If you use Copilot in the Microsoft 365 apps, which means the Microsoft Copilot Pro version, the source will be eventually useful in Outlook. For example, summarize my 10 latest emails, or another use case could be, can you make me a summary of my 5 previous teams conversation that I missed during my vacation? Now that we know how to craft the perfect prompt, let's try it. Actually, let's mix and match the secret prompt formula ingredients. In other words, I'll switch the context, the expectation, the source, and we'll see how it affects the results. So if you remember properly, our first prompt, it was give me a 5 bullet points of the nicest things to do in Paris. I'm going there with my family, which includes 2 kids. I want you to take into account activities that are kid-friendly and we can do it in 4 days, etc. But now let's switch things a little bit. In my previous life, before having kids, I was running a traveling agency. And from there, I was organizing a trip to Paris. So let's try another prompt example. Here is the prompt that I came up with. Draft an emails of thing to do in Paris. That's the goal. I am the owner of a traveling agency and want to organize a trip to Paris for 60 years old travelers with no experience. That's the context. I want the email to be very polite since it is elder people. This is the expectation. Base your research on articles that are less than 1 year old. That is the source. No surprise here, Copilot understood the different contexts. It really adapted my email for elder people over the age of 60. It changed the kids-friendly activity to more elder activities such as cafe. The Eiffel Tower is back. So just like we can expect from Copilot, it gave us a really tailored answer based on our prompt because we used the secret formula. Now let's change the source. So the source is the last part of your prompt, and make sure that you get this hierarchy right. So what we switched here is base your research on articles that are at least more than 6 years old. What I tried to do here is that in 2019, the Notre Dame de Paris Cathedral actually burned. So I was trying to see if there will be something different in the answer. I also asked Copilot to bold the changes so it will be easier for me to see what actually changed versus the previous answer. First thing I realized is that it only added 4 more activities and it didn't bold them. It actually put 2 stars or asterisks beside the examples that were actually added, and it actually changed the source as I asked, but Copilot is very bad with the timestamps. So it didn't realize it was more than 6 years old. So it actually gave me different articles that you can see here beside the learn more notice. But these articles are not more than 6 years old. So for the source, keep it when it's in your Microsoft 365 app, so your emails or your Teams. Okay, now let's change the context and the expectation. I will change my 60 years old audience to a younger audience with lots of experience, and I want the email to be very friendly. So here is the prompt. Draft an email of things to do in Paris. I am the owner of a traveling agency and want to organize a trip to Paris for 30 years old traveler with a lot of experience. I want the email to be very friendly, and then we keep the same source. Okay, so this time Copilot really adapted his speech for 30 years old travelers. Since I asked for the email to be very friendly, it seems to have hit the mark this time. It even ended the email with cheers. This is so friendly, right? Have you ever wished for a Copilot while navigating through Excel? Well, your wish has been granted by Microsoft. We are in Microsoft Excel and Copilot is located at the top in the ribbon. Something that is very important to note is if that the button is grayed out, you need to save your workbook on OneDrive. If your workbook is saved on your local disk, it won't work. I will click the button here and we have a warning here that Copilot is in preview mode. What does it mean? It means that Copilot right now is in feedback mode. It's not in production mode. It means that the community is more than welcome giving feedback on Copilot. And also please note that right now Copilot in Excel is available only in English. In other apps such as Word, OneNote, and PowerPoint, it's available in every languages. Another thing that you need to know is that you need to be very specific with your questions with Microsoft Copilot in Excel, and also that your data need to be formatted as a table. As you can see here, I have data, it is not in a table, and Copilot also suggests me, do you want to convert this as a table? You can click on convert, and here we go, I have a table. If it doesn't suggest you to convert as a table for some reason, let's click on undo. You can just select your data, go into insert, and then click on table here and make sure that my table as headers is checked. Here we go, we click OK, it does exactly the same results. We're gonna play around with Copilot in Excel, and what I'll do is actually play with the analyze function. So as you can see, I cannot do anything if I only selected a cell that is not in a table, and as soon as I click on the table, Copilot activates himself in the right pane. I have a data set here, which is the year, the category, the product, the sales, and the department. And we are gonna see what Copilot is suggesting me when I click on analyze. it says I can analyze data and show insight in charts and pivot table, and then it asks me to select a prompt. Let's try to ask Copilot the total sales by category as a column chart, and let's see what it gives me. I click here, and then he suggests me a pivot chart, and let's click add to a new sheet. Click here, and here we go. We have a sales as a category. Copilot did it by himself using the thousands, and it also sort the data descending, sort Z to A. So we have our top value at the top, and we have the movie magic $3,000 at the bottom. Makes a really great chart, already titled. Everything's perfect on this one. Let's go back to our data and see what I can do. What if I do insight for sales? Let's just click on that. Here's a pivot chart that shows an insight about your data. Let's add to a new sheet. And what it gave me actually is the department and the sum of sales. So basically it gave me pretty much the same as my previous data, except that it was a category, but this time it went by department. It also highlighted me the biggest sales, which means the headgear and the playtime workshop. I'm not too sure of the results behind that, which means I'm not sure what he did. Like, did he put only the top two? Did he say, okay, it totalized 40% of my total data? So we're lacking some information here on what it actually did in the backend. I'm gonna try and refresh the prompt that Copilot is giving me and see if it gives me idea. I just click on refresh here in the pane, and let's see what it does when I click on total sales for product excluding Beyonce's beret. I don't know why we will want to exclude Beyonce's beret, but we'll do it. All right, let's add to a new sheet again. So Copilot is just creating me a basic pivot table. If I click on this pivot table, it is basically a normal pivot table. So this is really useful if you don't know how to make a pivot table at all. You don't really need to learn it. Copilot just did it for you. But what's dangerous, I think, here is that when you click, it filtered out Beyonce's beret. But as you can see here, it's still checked. But it went into the label filter and it put a label filter, which I think is not really obvious and is kind of dangerous. So you can clear the filters again. It's appearing again here, and then you can just uncheck it. I think it is much clearer when you see it like that. But basically, simple pivot table, product, sum of sales, and it's sort descending once again. One of the limitations is that Copilot cannot act on the pivot tables themselves. If I select my pivot table, I go in Copilot and I just cannot ask any question. It's grayed out once again. I'm gonna ask another question to Copilot, and I'll ask him, can you give me the top 5 products in terms of sales in a bar chart? Make the bar chart pink gradient. So this is one of the limitations. Copilot tells me, sorry, I can't do multiple things at once. For the best experience, add one request at a time. So let's see if I just tell him, can you give me the top 5 product in terms of sales, what it's gonna do. So it took roughly 20 seconds. Here's a pivot table based on your prompt. I will add to a new sheet. And it didn't do any chart, it just gave me the top 5 product, and it used the top 10 function in the filters, so value filters top 10, and it put the top 5 item. Okay, let's ask Copilot a question. Let's not use the built-in prompts. So I will say, can you do a percentage of sales by line based on the total of sales? Let's see what it gives me. So Copilot answers me, I could not create a line chart, but here's an answer that may be helpful. If I had to new sheet, it just gives me the sum of the sales. So Copilot didn't quite understand my question here. Let's try it again. I will say, so here's a suggestion for you. Calculate the percentage of total sales for each product by dividing the sales of the product by the sum of all sales in the table. So it actually works. If I just mouse over on insert columns, it shows me in column F what it's going to add. We're going to add it. Click on insert column. Done. I added the sales percentage column F. This is very interesting. I can click here below explain formula, and it's going to explain me the whole formula that it did. So Copilot added the sales percentage in the column. If I do the total, it gives 100%. It actually did it right. Good job. We're going to test once again the add a column feature. So I'm just going to click on my table once again and click on add formula columns and see what Copilot is suggesting me. It tells me add a column to compare sales and sales percentage. Let's click on this. I am kind of curious. I'm going to insert column, and it actually didn't give me anything good here. That's not really great. What Copilot is also suggesting me is how many category of celebrity hats. This can be useful. I will click here and it's giving me the result 6. So it just told me that there is 6 line of celebrity hat. It basically did an equal count, but it put it in a pivot table. So once again, not super useful. Will be useful if there was like 3,000 lines, pretty much. We could have only done a count if, but it did it like pretty faster. So that's cool. One thing that I like that actually Copilot is not suggesting me right now, but it did when I tried to practice and show you guys the best of Copilot, is that it added the sales of the latest year. Add a column. Insert column, and as you can see, this can be useful. Instead of doing a pivot table and then sorting on 2024, it gave me only the sales for the year of 24 for each category. It can be useful, I mean, not all the time, but that's something it can do. So I didn't have to type the whole formula, like either if, the year, and then like it's a really complicated function, but it actually worked. I will delete a few columns here and try to add the unique product ID for every product using a VLOOKUP, and let's see if Copilot can do this. That will be nice if you tell him, can you use VLOOKUP, or can you bring the product ID for each product? They are in the product ID tab here. So as you can see, all my unique IDs are there. I go back in my master sheet and I will ask Copilot, sorry, I can't do that. It doesn't work. I'll try to be more specific because you need to be specific with your questions. It doesn't work once again. Each like on this video equals a day of watering for my plants. Support Plant Life. Give a thumbs up to this video. We're going to test the sort and filter features. Click here, sort and filter, and it gives me bold the top 10 values in year. I don't think that's what I want. I would probably want to bold top 5 values in sales, maybe, right? Here we go. We have the top 5 values that are bold. I will ask him, Copilot here applied my color on the column sales. So I have my top 10. If I go filter by color, I have 10 values. It also tells me that it puts some color in the department column, but let's see what it did. As you can see, if I remove my color, it doesn't work. It's because it used the conditional formatting. If I go in conditional formatting, I manage my rules. So as you can see what it did, it put the top 10 as well in column E, but it's based on numbers, and my column E is not numbers, it is letters. So it worked for my column D because it is numbers. So it tells me apply some color on the top 10. These are numbers, but these are not numbered. But I wanted Copilot to actually copy the format of the column D in column E. It didn't understand what I told him. Fair enough. Other than that, you can do basic stuff. If I ask Copilot, can you sort descending my data based on the year? It is probably just going to put descending based on column A. As you can see, you have 24 at first and you have 2019 at the end. It can be useful once again if you're not really used playing around with filters, but for someone that is intermediate or even that use Excel every day, it should be pretty easy. So I don't think it saves anyone any time here, except if you have a very, very large data set that you know already. Let's say you have 55 columns, you know them by heart, and you don't want to go at the end. You can just ask Copilot, sort them descending. But again, I don't really see the use case here right now. Now we'll jump into Microsoft Word, and the example I'll use for this is, let's say I want to get a new job and I want to summarize my previous job, aka do a kind of resume and send it to my new job or whatever the job I'll apply. So let's get into Microsoft Word. As soon as I open Microsoft Word, I see a Copilot logo here. I have already created my prompt, but we'll have a look at it together. So I will just copy paste and read it with you. Create a 3-page summary. So this is my goal about PricewaterhouseCoopers, Ubisoft, and Polka. just got acquired by IFS in order to present my past professional experience. This is kinda the context. I am not giving a specific source as we saw in the prompt earlier, but by saying just got acquired by IFS, Copilot will understand that it's based on internet research. Here we have another part of the context. I want to pitch these companies to a new company I'll be working for. And then we have the expectation. Make sure to keep it in a formal language. I will click on generate and let's see what Copilot gives me. It will take a few seconds and Copilot will start drafting the best resume I could have done in literally seconds. So here we are, summary of PricewaterhouseCoopers, Ubisoft, and Poca. Really quick, we can read that PricewaterhouseCoopers is one of the largest professional firm. It has more than 43 billion in revenues since 2020 and a lot of information that I can just go and modify myself if I find it inaccurate or if there is too much information. When we scroll down a little bit, we have Ubisoft. So we have an history of the company and we have actually a few bullet points. When I did this earlier, Copilot was writing that I was a product manager at Ubisoft and then he wrote that I was a game designer. So it's actually generating kind of random text for you to modify afterwards. And then we have Poca, which is a company I worked for a few moments ago, and it was acquired by IFS, a Sweden company. And now we have it here. Working at Poca gave me the opportunity to join a fast-growing and innovative company and to be part of its integration with IFS. It also says creating and executing a marketing campaign for Poca platform. It's actually random information. But what you can do with Copilot is actually tell him to rewrite your prompt. At the bottom here, as you can see, we can ask him anything else. I'll say, can you rewrite this text taking into account that I am a professional accountant? And let's see if he modifies anything on my whole text. We could have selected only a single part and it will have applied this change to only this part, but he's still gonna write everything again. As you can see here, it makes a little bit more sense. It says I worked as a senior associate in the assurance division of PwC for 2 years, which is actually true. It's 3 years in my case. I'm kind of scared right now. I'm not sure if he's going to go on my LinkedIn to take some information. Hopefully he doesn't know who I am. And then for Ubisoft, look what it changed. Preparing and analyzing the financial statements and reports for the mobile games division, which is not actually true, but like the first part is actually true. And then creating and updating the budget. So I have a solid draft to start and write my real resume from. It's kind of crazy. Another feature that is really crazy with Copilot is that you can actually create Word documents based on existing Word documents. As you can see here, we are on Microsoft Copilot website, but you can write a go-to-market document for the grand opening of the Contoso home improvement store based on, and then you put your link to a document. Unfortunately, I can't show you live today because this feature is only available to customers with a business subscription. Like this video if you're excited about Microsoft Copilot getting your underproductive colleague kicked out of the company. Back to my career summary. Let's say you have multiple information in a paragraph like this. You might want to click here and visualize your data as a table. You simply click here and look how better it's going to be visually. We have the company, we have the services, we have the numbers, all in a table now. Imagine if you have multiple numbers, it's really crazy. It took us one click and here is our visual. One other thing, we're getting lazy with time and we don't want to read the whole 3 pages. We can just ask Copilot in the right pane here, summarize this document. And when we click here, it is actually going to summarize the document in seconds. So we are lazy, we need to review our employee work, or we don't want to read the whole resume. Here we go. We just have 1 bullet point for each company in this document. Another really sick feature from Microsoft Copilot is that we can create PowerPoint presentation from your Word document. So let's try it. We click on share in the Word document and then click on copy link. Then we just copy the link, we go to our brand new presentation file and we ask Copilot create a presentation from file, and then we paste the link we just copied. Then we click on send and it doesn't seem to work. I have a message from Copilot saying we encountered a problem validating your Copilot license. For more information, see here. I swear I paid my license. But Microsoft is actually advertising this feature on their website. As you can see, create a presentation from file, and then they put the link here. They don't write that it's only for business, but since we saw earlier that creating a Word document from another Word document was only for business license, I'm guessing it's the same. It is going to come soon to personal license, I'm sure, and it's going to be a sick feature. This presentation, guess what? I did it with Microsoft Copilot. So I'll show you the original presentation. It is this one. I changed a few stuff, but all I wrote is I asked Copilot in PowerPoint, create a presentation about an AI tool that I will present live on stream. And this is actually what it gave me. Okay, I'm cheating here. I added the Microsoft Copilot logo because Copilot doesn't have access to like internet. Like if the image is not in his own image library, it won't give it to me. Fair enough, I added this, but look at this. It just gave me a template and with all these cute images. So all I had to do, so this is the original, and this is like actually after I changed some stuff. I added this slide, I added this slide, you know, so, but see, like, and then I adjusted this slide. So this slide was this one before. That's kind of crazy, right? It took me 2 seconds. I'm gonna click on Copilot here, and I'm gonna ask to create a PowerPoint about my previous company I was working for. It's called Polka. So I will do create a presentation, or you can just click here, create a presentation about Polka, software as a service company in Quebec City. Talk to me about its financing, most precise on the Series B. Give me details. All right, so here we go. We have a Polka presentation, and this is actually accurate. So I didn't do anything. I just told Copilot, create a presentation on Polka, a software as a service company, and it is what it gave me. And I told Copilot, can you work more? Like, can you give me more information on actually the financing side of it? So it's a Series B funding, generates 25 million, led by an American firm. So if you go to a client and you just want a quick summary and you want actually to showcase the potential clients to whatever crowd that you have, this is actually really powerful, right? I mean, we don't know yet if everything is like accurate 100%, but then you can double check those facts like real quick. And then you have the Polka's path forward here. It gives me some other information about Polka with some random logos. Once again, there's none of this that is actually the real logos of the company. Let's say right now I want to add a slide. I'm like, oh my God, I remember that Polka got sold to like a Sweden company. So I have two cameras, I'm watching the wrong one most of the time. So let me add a slide about the IFS acquisition. So Polka was acquired by IFS. So I will go in Copilot, click here, add a slide about at the really top. And I'm like, add a slide about the IFS acquisition of Polka. And here we go. That's the slide that's generated. New mail. And then at the top, you have the Copilot ribbon. So today I will write a message to David Fortin, the best Excel fluencer out there. So you click here and you add a subject. You will say Microsoft Copilot next training. And then when you click here, you click on Copilot and you just click on draft with Copilot, just like ChatGPT will work. You click and it says, what do you want this email to say? So I will say, I want to invite David 1 week from now to a Microsoft Copilot training. It will be live on the Piggy Bank Accountant YouTube channel. It's going to be at 1 p.m. EST. And then you have some options. You can click here on the little bullets. I don't know how to say that, the little things here. You can put the tone that is direct, neutral, casual, formal. And I really don't know what they put this here, but make it a poem. I think it's for the lol, right? Like, why would you want to always make a poem in an email? I mean, I'm not too sure why they did that, but whatever. And then you have the length, short, medium, and long. So I'm just gonna go click on generate, and I don't want to spend much time on this one. I just want to show you how strong it is. But here we go. It's not perfect, okay? We are learning with the AI. Hi, David. I hope this email finds you well. I'm writing to invite you to a Microsoft Copilot training session that I'm hosting next week. It will be live on the Piggy Bank Accountant YouTube channel, and you can learn how to use this amazing AI tool to write code faster and better. Okay, so far it's not that bad, but it's not code, right? So I feel like Copilot doesn't even know who he is himself, because I asked him earlier to make a PowerPoint presentation about himself, and it was a mess. It was like, oh, I can help you code faster. That's not really the goal of Copilot. So again, something wrong here. The training will be on Wednesday, July 7. If we look 1 week from now, it's January 17. This is not July 7, right? So it's getting this wrong as well at 1 p.m. Eastern time. It will last about for an hour, blah, 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 if you're interested. And then you can say anything you'd like to change, and we'll say the date of July 7 isn't right. It is January 24. And then we're gonna click on regenerate. We have our new email. Again, it's all wrong, but guys, I want you to relax a little bit. It's normal. It's brand new. AI has to be trained. They're gonna do a lot of a lot of updates, but see, it changed the date for Wednesday, November 24th. This is Microsoft OneNote. If you don't know OneNote, what it does, basically, as you can see here, I have my 1K challenge with multiple sessions. So I took some notes on multiple subjects. I go into Bible and information. I have my YouTube thumbnails here. And basically, this is multiple Word document all in one in Microsoft OneNote. What you can do, you can click on Copilot, and you can do pretty much the same as Word, PowerPoint, and everything. You can summarize, you can draft a to-do list, you can list the pros and cons of smoking cigarettes. Let's do it like that. Describe the inside. Let's see what it gives me. It gave me this right here. The pros, some people may find smoking to be a social activity. We have stress relief. Some people, as I said, we have cons, the health and stuff. So again, if you're taking some notes on a subject, you can quickly draft the pros and cons. As we say, we can draft a to-do list. So if you have a transcript, you know now that you can record with Microsoft Word a meeting as well. Like if your meeting is going live in Zoom, you can open Word and use your microphone to record what's going on and then make a to-do list with this meeting. Anyways, I won't go too far on this, but you can obviously summarize text once again with Microsoft OneNote. More Copilot courses in the description below.